Hello, I'm Kizzy Edgell, and you're watching Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I'm so happy to be joined by Kizzy Edgell. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm right.
We were just talking about a little bit of a mishap before the interview, which delayed it by a few hours, but we're all good. We're ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, my campus Wi-Fi stopped working, so I couldn't get onto the call, which was a bit of chaos. But yeah,
A bit chaotic, but we're here now, and that's all that
thank
matters.
God.
And I'm so looking forward to chatting with you. And I wanted to actually start off with school, the fact that you are currently working towards a psychology degree at university. What interests you about the subject matter?
I like to know how people's brains work. It's exam season right now, so I'm doing okay. Not sure if I'm going to pass the year, but I'm trying my absolute best. I like psychology because I like to know how people's minds work, and it helps me be a better actor in some ways. I think just sort of by understanding the processes that people go through, and yeah, psychology is really interesting. It's like a an academic way to get to know how to interact with people and how people work. So it's really interesting.
I imagine, like you mentioned, it's so good for being an actor because it helps you get in the mind of your characters, but also the characters around you, understanding like motivations and actions. So I imagine it's something that you're looking forward to using as you continue your career in the arts.
Absolutely, yeah. I think having some theory behind acting and having some proper like an academic way of understanding how people's minds work and getting into the mindset of a character and exactly understanding other characters as well and their motive. You're absolutely right, is what I was going to say. I was just right.
I wonder if in the future you'll be wanting to speak with more of the writers and kind of that behind the scenes as well because you'll have this more technical understanding of everything.
Absolutely. I'm writing a play right now, which is like psychology is really helping me write. Because it's about a psychiatric ward. It's like a black comedy about a psychiatric ward. And psychology is really helping me with that and understanding that.
That's fascinating that you're writing your own original work right now. How's that going? You're balancing that with classes and everything going on with Heartstopper.
I mean, it's going very slowly, but it is going. Finished one day. But I feel like if I don't have something creative to do, I sort of lose my mind because psychology is just really taxing, and I don't have loads and loads of work at the moment. And that's usually like my outlet to feel more creative. So I'm just writing and hoping it'll get somewhere.
Well, we look forward to seeing the finished work whenever that you disappear for
Sorry,
like a split second, no
sorry.
worries. Whenever that is ready, I'm sure it's a process, so you're probably just enjoying it as it goes along. But let's talk about we'll call it the main event right now, but Heartstopper. Tell me about Darcy Olsson. What conversations did you have with Alice Oseman about your character and maybe shaping some of her backstory, given what we know from the graphic novels?
We don't know loads in the graphic novels about Darcy's backstory, other than that she's just, out and proud and confident and chaotic. We looked at this one scene in the comics where Darcy says that, well, Tara says that Darcy's parents aren't very supportive of her. And I really like that contrast between how supportive her friends are of her and how little her family supports her. So I thought that was really interesting. I've got a really supportive family, so I feel quite lucky. Darcy is, oh, she means everything to me. First of all, I just have to say that Darcy's so precious to me. Of course, she reminds me of myself when I was younger, when I came out. That all is so familiar, and I think that's why I like playing her, because she's just so familiar. Her backstory is sort of like, yeah, it's not super fleshed out, but I spoke with Alice and we were like, we had this when we were doing rehearsals, we had to come up with an improvisation, and there was an improvisation where Darcy got a tattoo, and her parents were very anti that. So it was about me telling my friends and Charlie and everyone that I'd gotten a tattoo, and the story of how my parents disliked it and disapproved of it. And that was just sort of an improvisation thing that we did.
Was that part of your hot seat exercise?
It wasn't part of that exercise, but it was during the rehearsal week. The hot seat exercise was so interesting and so much fun. I actually really I sort of preferred watching other people do it than actually doing it. But it was so interesting. It was like the first time we really got into character, and went with it and sort of got in the brains of our character, and that was so much fun.
So did you learn a lot about Darcy through that exercise?
Yeah, I think having to come up on the spot with parts of backstory and parts of history about Darcy just sort of, I mean, what I said just sort of I had to say it on the spot. So what I said was sort of, it put me in her brain, and I learned loads about her that I didn't realize I already knew, which was super fun.
So you mentioned the tattoo, the parents' family disapproval. Did you visualize how and when Darcy came out, and maybe steps on her journey to get to where she is at present day, where she actually is comfortable in her own skin at school?
I sort of imagined it was just like my coming out story, which was I came out in a group chat full of my friends. I said, you know what, I like girls. One girl said okay, and then the rest of them left the group chat. And I imagined it was something like that, and I sort of projected that onto Darcy. But yeah, I felt like she was initially rejected by her peers, but she was so confident and so certain that people couldn't ignore it anymore, and I felt it was like mine.
Oh, I love that. But then I feel like, oh no, hearing that people love the group chat. But I almost feel like what we know about Darcy's family is that could very much have happened with her family in a group conversation. We'll talk maybe a bit about that later on if you hope to see more of Darcy's life at home. But I wanted to say you share most, if not all, your scenes with Karina Brown as Tara Jones. So tell me about building that relationship with Karina, that trust that we see on screen.
She's a bit older than me, so I feel like she had loads to teach me. And when we first met, we were obviously super awkward, and I think Karina was less awkward than I was. I was very sort of nervous, it's my first thing I've ever done. Very nervous, but Karina really did quite quickly make me feel comfortable, just because she's got this insane amount of energy, and I'm quite a sleepy dozy person, and she always would bring up the energy. As people know, on the first day of set I spilled coffee all over myself, and Karina completely giggling and taking the mick out of me really did make me feel quite comfortable.
Oh no, yeah, we heard about, I think the coffee thing was brought up in different interviews. Not the best day for you on set.
Not really, no. That was the day that Karina, we had to run out of a room, out of the orchestra room, and every time we ran out, Karina would do like a cartwheel or a flip or something off camera just for fun, and that's when I was like, well, she's a fun person. I love her. I really like that was our first day working together properly, and we really got to know each other that day, and it was so nice.
I love that the two of you click so instantly. And another thing is the pair befriends Elle early on. For Tara and Darcy, what was it about Elle and her spirit that made them compatible as friends?
I think the friendship's initiated by Tara, and I think Darcy's just happy to know another queer person. I think that's a really sweet thing about school queer relationships, is that you all sort of find each other just because you have this shared experience, and I think that was part of it too. I think so Tara gets to really like Elle, and I think Darcy, being as supportive as she is, just sort of immediately accepts her too, which I think is really sweet.
And the three of you just have this natural chemistry. And I mean, working with Yasmin, it was just announced earlier in the week, Doctor Who. Now, were any of you privy to that information ahead of time? Did you have, okay.
She didn't actually tell me. Will told me, and it was really supposed to be a secret. Um, I had to tell my mum. I'm really bad at like keeping
We're
secrets.
spilling secrets on here, but now that it's out in the open, nothing can happen to you all.
I was really bad with the Heartstopper secret as well. Because obviously I had to leave out of sixth form, and everyone was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Filming a show." I'm really bad with that secret too. I'm really horrible with keeping secrets. So, yeah.
I mean, people are asking, what are you supposed to say? I'm going on a little vacation.
Like, but like Joe had to come to London to film, and it's just sort of, yeah, I don't know, family or something. It's really hard secret to keep.
I know everyone's badgering you every day. Oh, can we meet up? You're like, oh, I'm not actually, I'm busy doing something. What are you doing?
Nothing. Something. Don't know.
Well, we're so happy to obviously see the news about Doctor Who. Are you a Doctor Who fan?
Such a big one. Such a big one. I ran a Doctor Who fan account when I was younger.
Was it like a Tumblr thing or?
It was on Instagram. It was my first Instagram account. It was called My Big Blue Box. And it was a Doctor Who fan account. I really am a big Doctor Who fan. And my family is too. It's like one of the things we watch together. A lot of the time, like, my brother's 16, so there aren't like loads of shows that we both like to watch. And Doctor Who was always a show that I watched with my family every Saturday, same time when it was on. Never missed an episode.
And now you get to watch your friend on the show, so that's...
I really just have to say, I'm so excited. It's like the most incredible thing ever, and she deserves it so much. It is just so surreal.
And we are certain that she'll make a brilliant Rose, so cannot wait to see when that time comes. I think paparazzi pictures have started being released.
Oh,
you're like,
God.
You can see how happy you are, and I love how supportive the cast is of one another. Well, let's talk about working with an intimacy coordinator. You had David Thackeray on set. What was your experience working with David, and how are they able to guide and support you?
Well, I can't really imagine a set without an intimacy coordinator now, because I mean, we had these like consent exercises, like, can I touch your shoulder? Yes. Can I touch your hand? Can I kiss you? That's how me and Karina practiced. We had a bunch of like consent stuff. And David was always like, if you feel uncomfortable, let me know. We don't have to do it. And that, I can't imagine like a set without that. And we'd go through the beats of the kiss in the music room. David was like, so you're going for a kiss, you're hesitant, and then you sort of go move into it, and then you feel free. And the beats of the kiss was really, really good, just so we knew exactly what we were doing, so there wasn't like a random touch that we weren't expecting. Really, 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 really good experience with David. Love it.
And it's really important, I think, to know that a lot of this is kind of choreographed, because you don't want to go into a scene not knowing kind of what's going to happen and have something be a surprise. And it's really important for I think everyone's headspace, right?
Yeah, and I also think it gives you a better outcome, because if someone's surprised by a touch or a movement, it's going to show.
Now, which was your favorite scene to be a part of, and why?
I think it was the rugby match. I mean, people ask me this a lot, and I say a lot of different answers, but every time I think about it, I think about a different scene. And I think it was the rugby match, just because we were all together. And it's one of the only scenes I have with Toby, who plays Isaac, and I love being in a scene with Toby. Toby makes me so happy. So it was a boiling hot day, and we made up this silly little game when we had to do some talking improvisation. We tried to sneak in random words. It wasn't being picked up by the mics or anything, but we just we played loads that day. It was like a really silly day, and there was ice cream. There was ice cream that day, so.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and like you mentioned, being with a lot of the cast, because I think at least chronologically previously it would have just been yourself, Corina, and Yasmin, but you got to meet at least on screen a lot of the other characters for the first time. Triangle game. We asked Toby about it. So did you have fun playing it? Was it very frustrating for you?
I well, while on set, I was one of the last people to get it. God, we played so many games like that. I know Toby was just Googling like hidden rule games and giving them to us. We played it with Alice and Patrick too, and they were not happy with it. But triangle game is triangle games. It's a very integral part of the Heartstopper cast.
Well, at least you will get it now. If there's for season 2, you'll have to try
come
it
up with a new
Okay.
game. Yeah,
that's true. I'm sure Toby has a bucket load of games to play. I will talk about some other scenes that you were in. Love to get some behind the scenes insights. So episode 3, Harry's party. Take me through some of those scenes and maybe that kiss, because I know it's a moment that a lot of people, even cast members, think it was just such a magical thing to be a part of and witness.
That day was actually another really, really good day on set. It was boiling. It was such a hot day. And we were inside this like stuffy sort of party room. And there was no music for the supporting artists to dance to. So they were just sort of like without music. And that was filmed in 2 places. I wasn't at the second place. And also it was Ria's birthday. It was Ria's birthday that day. So we sort of started filming the scene. And then the music switched to happy birthday, and they brought out Ria like a little, I think it was a cake, and it was Ria's birthday, and it was really, really sweet. That day me and Karina had a lot of fun, because there's so many supporting artists in that scene. There's like a lot of crowd. We sort of had a lot of time when we weren't on set, and we spent that day sort of exploring this like big grand house, like looking around and adventuring, which was really, really fun. The kisses, I think if there's one thing I'm really proud of in the show, it is that scene. I was really, really tired. It was a really tiring day, but I even when I saw it for the first time, I cried. I saw it for the first time in ADR, which is like voiceover, like just dubbing stuff basically, and even it makes me really emotional. I saw it when we were dubbing over. We were supposed to just sort of dub over some lines or whatever. And I saw it and I was just crying. I just started crying a little bit just because I saw it and I was like, we've done something good. This is good. This is good. And I think a lot of the time on set, I was like uncertain and nervous of my abilities. And I saw that and I was like, no, you did good here. So yeah, that scene means a lot.
Well, you did do such an amazing job, and it came together with the crew, everyone behind the scenes, lighting and the music, and your producer Patrick, he posted some behind the scenes footage of that kiss, and it was like a wide angle. And I just wanted to point out that in his viewpoint, you can see you and Karina give each other like a nod before the kiss. And was that something with the intimacy with David as well, that you just wanted to ensure you had consent at that given moment?
No, that was actually like a choreographed part of it. It was supposed to be sort of Tara's in public, like she's gonna kiss her. Tara kisses Darcy, right? It's her decision. It's her being like, you know what? Screw this all. I'm gonna show everyone, and it's Tara's kiss basically. And Darcy would always kiss Tara. Darcy loves to kiss Tara, but it's sort of to do with the fact that Tara's like, no, I'm ready for this. I want the world to see, and that's what that nod was about. It's really, really sweet. Eros was that was Eros and Alice's like direction was, Tara's completely certain. Darcy's like, oh, this is fantastic. But yeah.
So episode 6, Milkshake Cafe. It was outdoor, public park. What do you remember from that set and filming those scenes? Because it did look like a lot of fun, but Karina said the milkshakes were not as good as they appeared on camera. A bit more watered down, maybe.
I mean, I stomached it. I was fine. I think Will really hated it. I think we were supposed to have a different set. And it was supposed to be like an actual cafe, but I think outside is quite cute. What do I remember from that day? I remember in the bloopers you can see me getting cream all over my nose because I made that decision in one take, and then for continuity I had to keep doing it, so I was just sort of covered in cream the whole time, which the makeup artist didn't really like. But Oh, well, that day was so nice. That was one of the days. I mean, I'm always really sleepy and I'm always really tired on set, but that was one of the days that I had a lot of energy. Um, it was a really, really sweet day. And I remember we went for a walk because it wasn't far from like unit base where we would go and get changed. And we had like a nice walk through the park back to unit base when we went to go and get lunch and stuff. It was actually one of the most relaxing days on set.
Nothing like a little nature to wake you up. Yeah.
Right.
Episode 6 was also an important one for Tara, and having Tara and Darcy's relationship in the public eye, or Instagram official, as one might say. And we didn't get to hear a lot of dialogue from Darcy, but I was curious as to, being in her shoes, what was she feeling throughout the episode, especially for scenes where she heard Tara talk to Nick and Elle about how change or sharing things changes things, not always for the good, and coming out as difficult. Like, what was going through Darcy's mind?
I think at some point she was a bit hurt by Tara's unwillingness to come out. I think it's the same with Nick and Charlie. That it does hurt, even when you know it's not about you, even when you know Tara's not ashamed of you. Tara's ashamed of, like, or nervous about the fact that she's a lesbian. And it does hurt, and I think it did hurt Darcy a little. But I think Darcy's main thing is she just wants to be supportive because she knows what it's like to come out. I mean, it's not like it's completely different to her, although it is in some ways. I think the main thing that Darcy wants is to be there for Tara because she knows what it feels like and to sort of look out for her.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that was such a good assessment because you could see that look of concern, I think, on Darcy's face. And then filming that final scene on the floor in the music room with Corina, how important was that scene for their relationship?
I think, oh God, Corina did such a good job in that scene. I'm going to have to say that really, really quick. Corina did such a spectacular job. She cries all the time. I think she's like, got something wrong with her eyes or something, but she cries all the time, and she started crying. And the thing about a TV set is you do it so many times you sort of lose the feeling, but she started crying and I was right there and I was so present, and I felt really, really bad for Corina. I just sort of wanted to give her a hug because she's just incredible. That scene for their relationship, I feel like I'm glad Tara's able to talk about it, and I'm glad that Darcy listens. I think it brings out the best for each other in them. That scene, they confide in each other, they comfort each other. They just have such a sweet relationship.
I think it was like that reaffirming of the relationship and that support, and I'm excited to see what's up next for the two of them. Now, which was your favorite line or quote of Darcy's in season 1, and why?
Well, I think the classic one is the anti-homophobia cheese. I think that's a great line. And I was yeah, that day was so much fun as well. But I remember Eros sitting down being like, milk the shot, Kizzy. Like, just stay there for a while. Yeah, anti-homophobia cheese, definitely.
So I think Darcy had some of the great lines in season 1, and I wrote a list here. So that's on the bottom there. So that's number 1. And then where would you rank the other 3 lines?
Oh, we thank you for your service is classic.
Did you think that it would be as memorable as it has been? Because I spoke with Rhea, and then Rhea said that reading the scripts, it seemed like it was written by Alice, very iconic way, but seeing the reaction after the fact has been just like out of the water. Yeah.
I'm mainly here to get acquainted with the local gays. I didn't really think about, just because in that scene, I was stressing about the fact that I had to say, Charlie, my guy. And I didn't know if I would go, Charlie, my guy, or Charlie, my guy. And I like kept going around in my head. So that's
the intonation.
Yeah, I just couldn't stop thinking about that. So in that scene.
That was actually really cute. Like you putting your arm around Joe. It's like, fast friends, not a lot of boundaries there.
I don't think Darcy has a good strong sense of boundaries, except when it comes to Tara, actually. Are you looking at Timothy Chalamet's Instagram again? I remember reading that in the read through and I was like, that's a good line. That's a great line. Yeah.
I actually had two more, which is funny, just because there were so many. So you don't have to talk about it, but it's just like the way that Darcy has this kind of witty talk, and it's a lot of fun to listen to her.
It also feels very 16. I think Alice has done such a good job as writing the characters as their age. It is, God, Darcy reminds me so much of myself because that's just how I spoke when I was 16, just like that. Full of like Tumblrisms.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Okay, so which is your favorite scene as a viewer and why?
That is difficult. I think the beach scene at the end. I think We're Boyfriends is so good, and it is just ripped straight out of the comic. I read the comic when I was younger, and I remember that meaning a lot to me then. And I think Kit, especially in that scene, did such a good job.
Now, is there a specific scene, part, or theme in the books that you would love to see adapted on screen in a second season?
Well, I think France in general is incredible. And I love that Darcy gets everyone drunk and gets drunk. I think that's hilarious and so on brand. Although I do think about the fact that the show is like slightly aged down and for a younger audience, so that might not be the best idea. It's really weird because Darcy has such a small role in the comics, so there isn't much that I'd be like, that's important. Thank you, Alice, for letting me do more. Yeah, I think Paris in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say the alcohol might not be a lot of fun, but we'll see. I almost feel like it's possible that it could happen. I guess we'll see what route they go, but I know everyone wants to go to Paris, so that should be a fun time for the Paris squad. And how about with Darcy as a character? Like, what might you like to see or explore, knowing what you know from everything that Alice has spoken with you about and from what we've seen so far?
Well, me and Alice did talk about the possibility, because I'm non-binary, of Darcy being non-binary in the next season. And Alice was really, really sweet. She was like, whatever you want to do with your body, with your hair, if you want to, like take any hormones or anything, we'll work with it. Like, Alice was like, would never stop you. So I think that depends on what I do with myself. And I think, yeah, when Alice suggested that, I was like, might be a bit too soon, might be a bit too personal. If Darcy had a non-binary storyline, I think I'd be like, think I've got to figure it out myself before Darcy does. Although in some ways I suppose it might be a bit cathartic. Yeah.
I think that it's great that there's a production and everyone's so supportive of what you want to do. So when you figure it out, I'm sure that, viewers would love to follow along with your storyline. But that being said, if it's too personal, keep that until you're comfortable sharing. To see the fan response and how much it's shown young people that it's okay to be queer, it's okay to still be figuring out one's sexual orientation and identity. Like, what has that meant to you?
I'm so glad people like it because I like it, and I mean, I was scared when it like came out. Like, what if people don't like it? I was always so happy that we made this show. It still feels like a little baby. It's so nice to be stopped by someone, especially like an older generation. Like be stopped by someone when I'm in Brighton or I'm at home in London, and for them to be like, that meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. That's so crazy. The whole thing is, I mean, it still feels like nuts to me, but oh man, we did a good thing. It feels like we did a good thing. It feels like we made a good thing, and I'm really happy about that.
You made a great thing and something that I think will have that impact moving forward. And what's cool is you have met some people you said on the street, but even fans at the little outside the screening premiere event that you had when the show came out. So before kind of the show was released to the world, what was that like to have people kind of come up to you and say how much the books have meant and want your autograph?
So it's so insane. Actually, at that event, I remember Cormac and Kit particularly because someone was asking for like, sign the books please, and Kit was like, Cormac, you have to sign them, you have to, like, Cormac, let them know who you are, don't be afraid, Cormac, you deserve to sign the books. And I thought it was really, really cute. It's really surreal because I'm just some guy. I've got a really messy room right now, and it really feels odd because I'm just some guy.
How have your family and friends kind of reacted to all of it?
My best friend, Philip, who's at uni with me now, has been like my rock, because I mean, Heartstopper is like all I ever talk about, which does get a bit boring. And like, I'm sure people want to have some other conversation, but it is like the only thing my life is focused on right now. So Philip doesn't care that I only talk about Heartstopper. I'm like, next week I've got to do this, next week I've got to do that. Yeah, he's been great. They've been great. Sorry. My mom has been really, really supportive. My dad actually, he works at a psychiatric unit for kids, and they played the show there for them. And I remember the kids were like super excited about the fact that he was Kizzy Edgell's dad. No, that's the thing that meant the most to me was that.
And I know that your mom and you used to exchange like mentions of Heartstopper news articles. I'm guessing that's kind of stopped now, because then you'd be glued to your phones all day long with all the mentions that it's been getting.
Yeah, I got like a dumb phone, like not a smartphone, like a old Nokia something, so I can like get off my phone. I know Kit's having a social media break now, and I think that's probably a good idea for all of us, because I really am.
Are you talking about your car phone?
My car phone, yes. Oh, I wish I had it. I think it's over here. Do you want to see the car phone? Fantastic. I'll be right back. No, I'm so sorry, I can't find the car phone.
That's okay. Fine. Well, we'll put a little image because it's on TikTok. Okay. You introduced it to the world. I mean, like you mentioned, social media break. It's been a lot.
I used to like respond to people so much before the show came out. And I feel a little bit of pressure to continue to respond to people just because I've already done it. I think Will's really good for social media. We always talk about how jealous we are and about Will's restraint when it comes to social media. But me and Yaz, I think, are the most online.
You know, you also have to study, do other things. Yeah. Speaking of family, you have 2 cats, Mars and Skittles. I guess they're at home in London, is it?
Yeah, they are. So I miss them so much.
You posted a TikTok where you said, let's meet my cats. And some of the comments, and I can't unhear it now, thought you said, let's eat my cats. Did you listen to it back and kind of think, oh.
I did. I was like, oh God, why does it sound like that? Very odd.
Now it's immortalized out there. But the cats are still alive, and so that's the most important part.
Not eaten. They've not been eaten.
Let's go through some tweets on Twitter. So I guess not your car phone, your actual phone that has apps on it.
Yes. Let me find my phone. I had it right here. Okay. First tweet says, Ginger Kit confirmed. I really did that just to stir the pot. I don't have an intense opinion on whether Kit is ginger or not, although we did discuss it in the green room. I just did it to make drama. I really don't mind.
You are the drama. So, okay, so Heartstopper Twitter has a lot of, kind of these debates. Is it something that the cast catches wind about? Do you talk about it in your group chats, or is it? Yes. We were just in the group chat like 5 seconds before this interview, talking about a comment on one of Toby's vlogs that was like, seems like Kit isn't friends with the cast or whatever. And I was like, Kit, be honest, you hate us. And he says, how did they know? Simply despise. Yeah. You heard it here first. Don't get along.
We talk a lot to each other about stuff that's going on online. It's very funny.
And speaking about the content that you created from those images with Baby Queen, with Bella, how much fun has it been to kind of not only come together with the cast again, but celebrate the music of the show?
I love Bella so much. She played in Brighton and I went to see her in Brighton. And we hung out afterwards and it was just so much fun. And that day filming was so good. I miss everyone so much, and it's like we're never really all together. We do like to hang out, but it's usually not everyone. And because Cormac can't drink because he's young, so we can't really go anywhere with him.
Baby of the group.
I know. But us all being together was so nice. And Cormac goes to my old school and also my other old school, so I get to hear about the teacher. It was so nice to be all back together, and he knows my brother. So it's very nice to all see each other again. It does make me really, really happy. I think Darcy using this hoodie the whole show was cute. I saw it as a way to feel more comfortable because maybe she didn't feel well in the uniform. Does it have a reason, or it's just something casual? Okay, I remember making the decision to do this in the costume department. We obviously we needed like a winter thing and a summer thing. Because the seasons changed throughout the show, and it was my idea to wear it was really the costume department's idea, but I suggested it to wear a hoodie over the uniform, just because it's something that really does happen in Britain, but kids usually do get told off for it. You're like not supposed to do it, to wear a hoodie over a uniform. Also, I've just realized I'm wearing tie-dye again, which is very Darcy. So it's I think it's partly a rebellious thing, partly that too. And I know Darcy doesn't like wearing dresses, and I think some schools here do say that if you're a girl you have to wear a skirt, and if you're a boy you get to wear trousers. And I think it does cover some of the skirt, and her skirt is also like deliberately oversized. Most of her uniform is deliberately oversized just so she feels a bit more comfortable.
I think that was an important note, that you kind of all work together and with wardrobe. And I think that was the main thing. People thought that Darcy would get in trouble for kind of not abiding fully with the uniform policy. But I like that it's self-expression, right?
Yeah, I didn't do that, but I did at secondary school have this massive eyeliner all over my eye that I did get in trouble for. I used to get told to wash it off in the bathroom, and I kept putting it on every day. How did Kizzy not get a concussion? The sound of their head hitting the guitar was loud. Well, I actually don't know if it was my head or not. I think it might have been the trumpet. Yeah, it might have been the trumpet. I really can't remember. I did actually do that multiple times in that scene. There's only one in the bloopers reel, but I did hit that guitar loads of times in that scene because it was just so inconveniently placed.
It was very loud. I remember thinking the same thing. Are they okay? I thought that was your head.
Now, what is this tweet? I'm in a microwave. And I'm in a dishwasher. Okay, to be fair, I do quite like to see what they're talking about. I'm usually the one that sends the rest of the cast like tweets off Heartstopper Twitter or something. Just because I like my phone, I like to find out what's going on. And I also really understand fandom culture. I was always like a big like fandom person when I was younger. I was really into Doctor Who, and I was really into Sherlock, and I was really into My Chemical Romance, who I'm seeing this Sunday. So I really understand like the way the little Twitter sphere works. And I'd send it to the rest of the cast. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny. I don't know if anyone else does. I think they're funny.
So the story behind that tweet is you put a tweet about having a fun time in a microwave. So where did that tweet come from?
Well, that came from that. It came from like, they were already talking about like, Kit Connor is so microwavable. And I found that like, and then there was a bit of a debate about whether it was an appropriate thing to say. So I decided to put the debate to rest and put myself in the microwave.
And then the fans did that for you. So
yeah.
I love it. And that you're kind of basically feeding off the fandom and their energy. And I think it's like this reciprocal kind of thing that it works. And they're happy to have you on Twitter.
I'm very rarely on Twitter, but I like to actually I very rarely post, but I am always
You're a lurker.
I'm always watching, yeah.
So you did respond to a fan's tweet, and then I think you deleted it. but it was a fan, Natasha, and then you said your favorite Disney Channel original movie was Camp Rock.
Oh,
So
yeah.
can you elaborate on that? Is it truly Camp Rock?
Well, it is truly Camp Rock, and I think, pardon the pun, Camp Rock is very camp. I think it's great. I think it like embodies everything that a Disney Channel original movie has. It's got like, it's got the romance. It's got the music. I love it. I really love that movie. Sorry, there's a bug.
I definitely saw you kind of cut that bug.
Here it is.
Wow. Was it moving very fast, or are you like a
No, it was really
whisperer?
slow.
Okay.
Really slow.
Yeah, I think the music in Camp Rock was excellent. I mean, it had some really good songs. Gotta Find You, We Rock. I mean, they don't
Best
make
movie
Disney
ever.
Channel original movies the same anymore, I have
I
to
know,
say.
I know. Although my second favorite, I think, is Lemonade Mouth, which is good.
Okay, She's So Gone, which I don't know if you remember that song. It was the one Mo sang in the
Yes.
little pizzeria. That song is like one of probably my favorite song from those movies.
So good.
So I have to ask, you have a stunning tattoo on your, I think it was your left arm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you don't mind sharing, like, what's the story behind it?
For sure. It's my only tattoo, other than like stick and pokes I gave myself when I was 13. It's my only like proper tattoo. It's got like it's like a lino print sort of woodcut thing, and I don't my grandma doesn't really approve of it, but it was for her, because it's she's really into the arts and crafts movement, which is really really fun. And also I've got this like really strong memory of me and my mum being like for an art project for school making lino prints together, and it was stuck on our like fridge for a long time. Yeah, and it's got like a little heart and two faces, and it's symmetrical, and it was flash, like it's not like designed for me, but I really love it. I think, and also it's from his name's Louis, underscore Louis Lou on Instagram, and he's at the Welcome Studios, and he was just the nicest. I haven't really had any professional like tattoos done before, so I don't really know what studios were like, but that was the most comfortable place in the history of the world. It's like a little loft, and it's full of greenery and stuff, and you can see like loads of people's artworks, and there's like 3 tattooists there, and it's just so much fun.
So you'll be back there maybe at some point. But I like to think of tattoos as like the symbols we keep of like people, places important to us. So I like to hear that. It was a little tribute. I think your grandma, she'll come around in time, maybe. Yeah. I noticed a bunch of photos on your wall. Something like you like keeping memories as well.
Yeah, our uni gives us like one pin board basically. I've got loads of photos up here. I've got my brother over there. That's from prom. I really like photos. I really like printing out photos. Philip, my mate, has like the entire wall like completely covered in
He's
like,
got you
album
beat
covers and stuff.
I know. Photos.
I know. So annoying. Yeah, I've got loads of stuff up on here, and it's like I've had a photo wall basically since I was 12. And a lot of these are the same photos that I've had since I was 12, which is really, really fun. I think I was like, some guy next door has just started playing really loud music. Uni life. Yeah.
Gotta love it. I have one more question for your signature question. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
I don't really like ice cream. I like sorbet, so I think I would be lemon sorbet.
Short and sweet, a little bit tart. Lemon sorbet.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you so much, Kizzy, for taking the time to chat. It's been such a pleasure.
It's been so nice.
Make sure to catch Kizzy in Heartstopper. Season 1 is out on Netflix, and we will see you next time.
Bye.